So you're saying there's a chance the Flames' playoff hopes are hanging by a thread, literally. Dylan and Chris are going to break it down. Armchair GM podcast brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. Well, everybody, I apologize for the delay in between shows. I had a bit of a bout with some health issues. We're raring to go, getting into the last couple of weeks of the regular season. It's going to be exciting. I sure hope that the Flames can either make the playoffs or drop way down in the standings. I don't care which one at this point, to be honest with you.
I'm kind of in the same boat. It's like, obviously playoffs are exciting and anything can happen. Like I don't see the team going that far in the playoffs, but would still be nice to make the playoffs, 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
I'm just not. It seems like we're gonna be that like 17th spot team or like 18th spot where we don't have a good draft pick and we don't have any playoff dates, and it's just going to be that same old Flames thing where you pick up somebody in the draft who's going to help you 5 years down the road when
well,
Kadri and Huberdeau are way past their primes. And
yeah, well, exactly. That's the Flames mantra. Been doing it forever. If we're either 11th or 7th, right?
Yeah.
Minus 1 or 2 years where we've been tops of the division, which was fun and all, but it meant nothing. We did nothing with it. So it's second round. Okay. So I mean, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. I know Daryl wants to win. I know the players want to win. I think the fan base is almost split in half.
Seems pretty divided.
Yeah. I mean, if they can make it into the playoffs, great. Let's have fun watching it. It'll be a good time. But if they lose out by a point or two, that's going to be rather frustrating, I think.
Yeah. Like I never dislike making the playoffs. And I think a lot of people think that those of us who are, kind of want a better draft pick, like that we don't want the team to win. We do want the team to win. It just the highest or the best way of the Flames winning in the next 3-4 years is to get a decent draft pick or two and keep that salary down and have some young excitement. Like, look at what Peltier is doing for the team, right? Like, and that's just one kid, and he's really been keeping morale not at rock bottom.
Yeah, no, he's been a pleasant surprise. I honestly didn't think he would be this impactful. He's not putting a ton of points up, but you can't discount his heart and his drive every game. He's doing stuff away from the puck that is really impressive. His presence on the bench is very noticeable. He's super upbeat. He's excited to be there. Same with, I really have been impressed with Walker Duehr as well.
Me too.
I don't think he's ever going to be a top 6 guy, but I tell you what, I mean, his passion and his drive and his forecheck and whatnot has just been really, really refreshing to see, because we have players that typically have played in that way, but they've been pretty much invisible for a large chunk of the season. So it's nice to see some of the young guys come up and really have that drive.
Like Brett Ritchie was doing that very well in the first, I want to say, 10 games of the season, if that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think he got hurt, and then he just came back and dropped right off.
Yeah.
And I've heard this comparison a lot. Duehr is kind of like a slightly more offensive upside and faster and younger Richie. That's all he is,
Sure.
right? Like, and that's like, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
It's
there's four
it's
lines on
great.
every team, right? I mean,
Yeah.
those players are needed. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's been fun watching those two. Um, you know, I would I was hoping to see at least one more call up like a Zari or yeah, probably Zari would be my next guy, but really aside from the obvious, who do we take out of the lineup? I know you and I would likely pick the same number 88, but
Well, yeah, but he's not going to be scratched, which is dumb because you know he's. I wouldn't call him a liability. He's. I don't know.
he
It's
is
just frustrating watching him get manhandled all the time and
all the time.
give the puck up, and people, and like, then people read advanced stats and don't realize that like his advanced stats are good because of the two guys he plays with. It has
Mhm.
very little to do with him.
Right. Well, that's right. He's been the product of two pairings on two different lines of two guys that gel well together. We had Kadri
Dubé
and
and
Dubé.
Kadri.
They were doing really well to start the season off, and I mean Coleman and Backlund. I mean they're they're two absolute workhorses that are very key to any success that the Flames are going to have at this point.
Absolutely.
Like that's they're the style of play. Backlund has been probably, I'm going to say, one of the best two forwards consistently all season.
Yeah, him and Toffoli have definitely been the two guys who have kind of carried the team as
Mhm.
far as up front is concerned,
Yeah,
all season.
yeah, that's right. And as you mentioned earlier, that you're worried about a draft pick, the middle of the pack draft pick that's going to be potentially impactful or ready to make the lineup in 3, 4, 5 years, where potentially Huberdeau and Kadri's careers are going to be on the decline. I'm more worried about wasting guys like Toffoli at this time. I had no I had no idea that he still had this kind of offense left in him. Like
Well,
he's been
how old is
really
he?
refreshing.
Isn't he only
He's like
30?
33 or something like that.
I don't think so. Um, yeah, I mean, Toffoli is, he is who he is. He's a sniper, and he's 30.
33?
Um, but he's a sniper, and he's put away 26 this year. He actually has more assists than goals, which is surprising to me.
Yeah.
But he's done really well this year, and I'm happy with him. But I was at the deadline, I was ready to trade him because, not because I don't like him, I do like him, but in 2024 we have so many expiring contracts,
Yeah.
and like, no offense to Toffoli, but Lindholm is younger and more important to the future of the franchise, in my opinion.
Yep.
Um, and there's a couple other guys, like Zadorov's coming off, could have moved him. I was kind of upset with how the deadline was dealt with, because we have so many guys coming off in a year, and the prices that teams were paying for players with term were ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I felt like it was just poor asset management to not, especially at that time when the team hadn't just rattled off 2 straight wins, which
Yeah.
is wow. Uh,
I agree with you 100%. I mean, the, the way the team has played since the All-Star break would suggest to me, if I was a GM, that they're simply not ready and it's time to start managing assets, right? How many times have we had, you know, middle six guys just walk at free agency, let alone, our two big guys last year. Like, it's just piss poor asset management
Mhm.
has plagued this team for so many years, right?
Absolutely. Oh, excuse me.
Oh
Sorry.
man, did you get it?
I did.
Good. Yeah,
Um,
you look at the history, right? I mean, look what they did with Jerome McGinley, right? Just hanging on to him till the bitter end, and then we got absolutely nothing for him. And
Mark
then
Giordano,
our
TJ
next
Brody,
captain, right? Yeah, so many players over the years,
Travis Hamonic, even who we spent a fucking ton on. Like, you gotta, and I know it's hard for some people to grasp because they are human beings, but they're also assets to the team.
they are, and
And
the player clearly has no qualms about just walking away either. So to get that emotionally attached to a single player to me just doesn't make sense.
no,
It's a business for the team and it's also a business for the player. They have
yeah,
every right to go out and make as much as they can. And so the price tag doesn't always fit with what the team's doing or what they have left. It's just the way it is. But
yeah,
if you can get something reasonable for them when there's likely no chance that there's going to be a signing, like, you have to do it.
yeah,
Like, you just have to.
yeah.
Or else
And
you're
like,
simply not a good manager.
no, I totally agree. Um, I did want to mention too that you were talking a little bit about maybe bringing up Starry. I would like to see that too. Um, I feel like it probably won't happen until
Mhm.
two things happen. Either the Flames are completely out of it, or sorry, both the Flames are completely out of it, and the Wranglers have locked a spot up.
Right.
Once those two things happen, I could see Zari coming up and being chucked on some line somewhere for a couple games.
Yeah.
Because I'm not one of these, like, to a point I am, I guess, that give the kids a shot, and like, yeah, we do need to give the kids a shot, but I think for him it's less that he's not been given a fair shot, because this is his first full professional season. He got
Yeah.
hurt at the beginning of last year and missed a bunch of time blocking a shot in the preseason. Um, and it took him all year last year to really get up there in his play,
Mhm.
get back up in his play. And this year he's been fairly lights out, but I I think his I just think his play this year deserves a couple games in the NHL. It does
Yeah.
not like full-time call up or anything. He just deserves that reward
Yeah. I agree.
for how he's done.
Yeah, I agree. He deserves the reward, and the team needs to know what they have in the player at this level, right? We all know it's a completely different level than the A. Um,
Yeah.
and I want to see how it translates. Yeah, I want to see how he is, going in the corners against, bigger men, more talented men. And I want to see what he has in him.
Yeah.
You know,
He's got 49 points in 57 games this year.
yeah, which is good, right? I mean, like, the top guys in the AHL normally have considerably more than that.
Yeah.
But he's not necessarily one of those flashy scorers either, right? Like, he's more of a grinder, um, type forward.
Yeah, I think, like, I don't think he's gonna come to the NHL and be fucking Austin Matthews or anything like that, right? I think his ceiling is more.
I think a more talented Dubé.
I was gonna say a more offensive, like a slightly more offensive upside Backlund.
That's high praise as far as I'm concerned.
Mm.
I mean, if he turns into that player, fuck yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that excites me, right?
yeah. Like a middle six
Mhm.
from the split time between the second and third lines most years type of guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's kind of where I've got him pegged, but also that's no, it's probably too soon to just say where he's going to be because who knows.
Yeah, and one guy that I'm actually fairly upset that we let go of at this deadline, being Sahorna. I actually had I had some higher hopes for him.
I did too, and I'll be honest, I can't even remember what the fuck did we get for him. Oh, Dryden Hunt.
Yeah.
So I remember I was listening on 960 to their trade deadline show or whatever, and they had said that we got Dryden Hunt, and I was like, oh, that's bolster the Wranglers for the playoffs type of thing. That's fine, whatever. I don't really care.
Yeah.
And then it was like 5 minutes in between before they realized what the return was, and I heard Zahorna's name, and I actually I yelled. I swore. I was like, "What the fuck? Why?
Yeah.
Why? Like
you know,
he's not even getting a chance."
like people are saying, oh, we're just swapping AHL players. So Horner's not an AHL player. He's an NHLer. He's ready for the NHL and should have been part of this club. I think for most of the season.
Yeah,
that's right.
I agree.
He shows more drive and heart than what Adam has shown. Since he was dropped off the first line.
Yeah,
it was very frustrating to me. To me, that's just piss poor. I mean, we pretty much stole him from Pittsburgh, right? Claiming him on off waivers, and then we just do that. It blew me away. It blew me away.
Me too. I wasn't ever watching him when he did play a few games there. I wasn't ever like, oh, this guy is the be all end all. He's not. He's a perfectly serviceable fourth liner with a little bit of upside. And man, he's a big man, and he is fast.
He's big. He's fast
for a big man.
He's responsible with the puck. He's responsible away from the puck in his own zone. Like there was plenty of upside to
there must have been something that the team saw that none of the rest of us saw that's negative, because even in our group chat, a lot of the guys were saying he's good. I don't know. There's no reason to swap him for an AHL player. I think.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with there was no picks involved in that, right? Just player for player.
I believe so.
It just makes no sense to me.
See, I thought when they said Dryden Hunt's name, I thought that it was just going to be Dryden Hunt for a fourth or something like that, and I was like,
sure,
perfectly fine with that.
Yeah,
but I think Zahorna's
better
and higher upside than Hunt.
Yeah, we paid we paid too much in that.
Yeah.
NBA fans, it's time to bring the hoops action to the palm of your hands with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet $5 and win $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, for a limited time, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every day. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Opt in and place a same-game parlay on any NBA game, and if it doesn't hit, you'll get a free bet back. Download the app now and sign up with code THPN. New customers can bet $5 on the NBA and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, with code THPN. Minimum age, some restrictions apply. Void in Ohio. See show notes for details.
Talk about the other trade?
Yeah, I mean the brother for brother thing, whatever. I would
cool trivia question and not much else.
That's pretty much as far as it went. He comes in, he scores, right? Or he's involved in the play right away.
I still think that should have been Huberdeau's goal.
I still, yeah. I mean, it's close. My biggest problem, and I know why it happened. He's trying to make an impact and play Sutter style hockey. I get it. But I mean, a penalty in each game that he's played 200 feet away from our own net, that's not good.
He has 3 bad penalties already.
Yeah.
And like bad ones. And like I could forgive it if it was one, but like I like Richie is I mean, he's got more offensive upside, I think, than his brother.
Mhm.
He's also like 1.5 million more, I think,
Sounds about right. Yeah.
because I think he's 2.5. And like I have no pro like honestly, I have no problem with the trade because
Exactly.
it's until the end of the year. Like
Yeah.
we didn't give up draft picks. And I've actually been impressed with Stetcher.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm actually kind of excited about acquiring Stetcher. Obviously he's going to be more money than Mackey, but
Mackey wasn't going to resign
yeah, probably not unless he was given a chance. Which I mean, he kind of fucked over his own chances this year.
by being bad.
Yeah, just
Yep.
piss poor defensive play,
Yeah.
which is a bad sign for a defenseman.
So yeah,
Troy's been quite good. He's taken a couple penalties as well, but I think a little bit of that is just getting used to his line mates and the flow of the team.
I'm covering for Zadorov.
Yeah, yeah, he's put himself out of position quite a bit in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Trying too much, trying too hard.
Yeah. I've only noticed one bad turnover from Stetcher. Um
Hmm.
and I don't and that's in 2 games, right? Like that's not a huge deal to me.
Right.
Especially when you have guys like Hannafin making like 20 in one game. And honestly, like most of our D has been kind of not great the last couple games, even though we've won them and haven't been scored on a whole bunch or anything like that. I think Jacob Markstrom being absolutely lights out has kind of covered up the defense being actually quite piss poor the last couple games.
Yeah, I mean Dallas got 4 goals on us, but
Yeah,
which is more than they should have. But um, I certainly don't put that on Markstrom. Who would have thought that having a pregnant wife would make you play a certain way, and then when you finally have a child, apparently he decided he can now relax and play his game because it's been ever since the birth of his child that his game has changed pretty
total
drastically.
speculation, complete just thought that I had that nobody's ever I haven't even seen online or anything, but I wonder if there was like complications with the pregnancy that they didn't know about, and that's or sorry that the public doesn't know about or whatever, and that could have been what was stressing him out. And then once the baby came healthy, he was like,
That could be. I mean, maybe.
that again, that's totally just like a random
Yeah,
thought I had. Yeah,
but I mean that is possible. But I mean, it would have to be quite early on in the pregnancy because he's. I mean, let's face it, he's been pretty much dog shit since the beginning of the season.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
maybe
He has been.
maybe yeah, up until the last few games.
No.
Maybe it's something a little more like having a pregnant wife that has certain food cravings at 1 in the morning where he's got to hop up and go to 7-Eleven and get a jar of pickles or something. Yeah, I know when my daughter was on her way, man alive, Slurpees at midnight. I was just like, yes, hon, I'll be right back. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
You just don't even argue. You just go and do it.
yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I mean, that's his first, right? Or their first, I
Shut up.
believe. No, child.
Oh, child. Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I mean, who knows, right? Maybe he just didn't know what to expect, and maybe who knows? Who knows? Goaltending is a complete mental game.
So
And
when you're off your mental game, it affects.
it affects everything, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
couldn't agree more. But
But
but we should talk about his game because even though Minnesota beat us 3-0 and we beat Dallas 5-4. I think he's making the saves he needs to
yeah,
for the first time. Like obviously the 1-0 shootout victory, like that was just next level uh goaltending,
yeah.
but by both guys, honestly. But even though he's been scored on a little bit in the previous couple games, I still thought that he was really good. Like
Mhm. Well, yeah,
as
he had
as
a
good as you can be letting 4 goals in.
right. Well, absolutely. I mean, even look at him against Toronto last Thursday. 941 save percentage.
Yeah,
Like you
exactly.
can't ask for much more. That's giving your team a chance to win. You know, against Minnesota on Saturday it was 909, but still way higher than what his season has been. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. And no, like, ever since he came in for Boston, I totally just pressed the wrong button. Ever since he came in for Vladar in Boston, after Vladar let in those 2 goals on 3 shots
Mm.
in the first period, I thought that he's been just just far and away better than he has the rest of the season.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Well, exactly. And oddly enough, the worst game as far as save percentage and goals against average was against Dallas, and that was our first win. Which,
Yeah,
I mean, we were well on our way to another overtime, which as a Flames fan is terrifying.
scary. Yeah,
Um, but that being said, I mean, look what we did in Minnesota the next night. The fact that they were able to battle that hard, that game was actually really exciting for me. Um,
it was for me too.
yeah, no goals, but I thought it was a really high paced game. A lot of good action on both sides. It was an exciting game to watch. It was fun.
It really was, and I mean, coming off the high of winning the game with 6.5 seconds to go,
Mhm.
just the night before, how exciting that plane ride must have been, and like
Mhm.
Dallas to Minnesota, like Minnesota is basically Canada, and Dallas is in Texas, right?
Mhm.
It's not a quick flight, and it's back to back games.
Yeah,
Um,
1,300 kilometers, right? That's a long trip. It's a two
yes,
and a half hour flight.
so they were still riding that. I think they were still riding that high from that game,
Mhm.
from that
But I
late
mean,
late heroics.
but I also think given the outcome, the fact that they were able to battle through the adversity and get out of overtime and the way that they won it in the shootout. I mean,
Yeah,
if they can't pull both those wins into riding more high coming up, then I think it's the true test, right?
yeah,
You know, it's a
yeah.
it's a big game.
Did you
Uh,
catch the offside?
I did, yeah,
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 I did too. Like long before the goal went in, I was like, "This is
yeah,
insane." I think the words that came out of my mouth while I was watching the games, like that is insanely offside.
yeah.
And
Ever since they made the change where you're allowed to back in to the zone
I always
before the
forget
puck,
that.
right?
And I
Um,
feel like if I had remembered that, I probably wouldn't have said that's insanely offside.
right?
But like
Yeah,
it, that looks so offside. And
yeah.
in the spirit of the offside rule, that is offside.
But I mean, I'll tell you what, the fact that we were able to get a call go our way from Toronto
Yeah.
in that situation, I it I'm surprised, to be honest with you. I mean, it was absolutely offside because the puck was not on his stick when he crossed the line, right?
Yeah.
That's the rule.
Yeah.
But the fact that obviously they reviewed it immediately, which is great. And it went our way. I was blown away by that more than anything.
Yeah, even though it was offside, you were still surprised
Mhm.
that it got called that way, and
Yeah,
that it wasn't a coach's challenge. It was they reviewed it from Toronto
yeah,
themselves.
yeah. And Rick Ball was saying that they always review those. I've never seen it. It's very rare that you see the war room, as they call it, do any sort of reviews like that. In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if I've seen a couple of of reviews that weren't coaches challenges, but it doesn't happen. It's not like every time. It's not even. It's like I don't know, not even 10% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
maybe they just do behind the scenes and they do it really quickly and then just get on with the game or whatever. But I I don't know.
Yeah, that could very well be.
Rick
I
would know better than I know.
That's true. Kelly wouldn't, but Rick would.
Well, Kelly doesn't even know where his second bottle of whiskey is.
Yeah, he
It's
does.
probably a bad taste joke, but whatever.
Yeah, come on now. Gonna get us kicked off YouTube.
Yeah.
So everybody keeps talking about how we've got this super easy schedule coming up to end out the season. I don't see that. I really don't.
I'm really looking forward to this Ottawa game.
It's gonna be hard. You know, it really is. Like they're taking out teams that I don't think they have any business winning against, but
Well, they lost 5-0 last night
to Chicago, right?
to Chicago, so they're pissed.
Yeah. But at least there's a few days in between before that happens, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But even like playing Anaheim, yes, we absolutely should win that game, but we absolutely need to win that game. Those are the matchups that scare me, right? When you have somebody like Zegras that seems to be a nightly highlight reel package
Yeah,
with some of his goals.
he hasn't really done much of that against us
No,
yet.
right, yet, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, we to end off the rest of March, we play Anaheim twice, we play LA Kings twice, we play Vegas twice, play Ottawa, we play Dallas. That's not an easy schedule.
No.
That really isn't, right? We've had our issues with Anaheim over the years. Thankfully, that kind of
The
came to
curse
an
is
end.
yeah.
Thankfully they went through a rebuild. I think is what helped us.
Yeah,
Um,
that is it.
and we're going up against Arizona next week. Like they're all winnable games, but they still have to win them.
I could be incorrect, but didn't Arizona go up 3-0 on us the other night?
Yeah.
Like scoring 5 unanswered goals isn't going to happen every game.
Nope.
And do I think the Flames have it in them to win the next 3 games? Absolutely, I do.
Mm-hmm.
But do I think that they're probably not going to because of the way they play down to their opponents? I think that they're going to let at least 2 points out of these 3 games they should win slip.
Yeah.
Just by playing down to their opponents.
Yeah.
And I don't even think Ottawa would be playing down because I think Ottawa is a much better team than people give them credit for.
Oh,
Them not
absolutely.
having Talbot in theory should help because he's out, I think, for the rest of the season, or at least for most of it now. But Mad Sogard beat us last, or did he beat? Yeah. They beat us last time.
Yeah, they're not an easy out for us, right?
No,
They haven't been for a few years. They're only 3 points behind us as far as um total points, right?
yeah.
So
And
it's
if you think about it, the teams that they have to face more often are harder to beat than the teams that we have to face more. They
that's
have
right.
to play Toronto and even Florida and
Yeah, Tampa and
Tampa and
Rangers and Boston. Yeah,
exactly.
Like they're in a much harder situation than we are, and they have 3 more wins.
Mhm.
So no, they're by no means an easy game for us.
Yeah. But do you think that the Flames make the playoffs?
Yes, yes, I
You
do.
okay?
I think they're going to knock Winnipeg out.
Yeah. Winnipeg just lost too. But I mean, there's only so long Hellebuck is going to be not himself for. And I just can't understand how, like, they have so many high powered offensive players. I was surprised they didn't do much at the deadline, but they have so many high powered offensive players, Ehlers and Connor and Shifley and even Wheeler sometimes. And I just, how can they all be dry at the same time?
Yeah, well, that's very true. Um, but even if you look at their schedule coming up, I mean it's not easy either, right? They've got Panthers, Lightning, Hurricanes, Bruins, Predators, Blues, Coyotes, Ducks, Kings, Sharks. Okay, well then it starts to drop off, right? Red
Yeah.
Wings, Jersey, us. That's going to be a pivotal game on April 5th, right? We're going into Winnipeg, so
Yeah, could be. But the other thing is by then it could be a whole other team we're chasing. We could be chasing the Predators by then. We could be back to chasing the Golden Knights or the Kings or the Kraken.
yeah, or
It's
Colorado,
not
right?
it's not that. Um,
Colorado is the more likely one to drop out of there,
yeah,
um, because they're only 1 point ahead of Winnipeg right now, but they do have 3 games in hand.
yeah, they've had lots of games in hand for the last little bit.
Mm-hmm. And that's how they finish off the season with the Jets and Avalanche. I mean that could be pivotal, right?
Yeah,
And
but I mean,
goddamn well that's going to overtime, just out of
yeah,
spite.
I guess the Kraken are 5 points, or no, sorry, 9 points up on us. So that
Yeah,
would be a tough one to make up. But
yeah. I think really the only team we have a chance at catching is either Winnipeg or Colorado, but I don't see it being Colorado with those games in hand.
mhm.
Um, but I mean, the only way the Flames are gonna make the playoffs is if they win their next 3 games against Anaheim, Ottawa, and Arizona,
Yeah,
and in convincing fashion, where they can build that that feeling of winning again against lesser opponents. Like they have to win those games. They
well,
are
against any
must
opponent,
wins. Yeah,
like they need to win against any opponent.
true.
But yeah, they need to gain the confidence of, like you said, like winning. What was the word you said? Sorry.
Well, winning against lesser teams, you
Yeah,
have
yeah, like
you have to
in convincing fashion, I think is what you said.
yeah.
Um, so like you gotta win, 2 or 3 goals against Anaheim and you know Arizona too, probably. Like you've got to like get your offense going. You got to keep your goaltending going. Your defense has to stop Noah Hannafin all over the fucking ice.
That's right.
And
And when you've got the Ducks twice, you got Arizona, you got San Jose and Vancouver. Those are games that you have to roll over the lesser team. You have
you
to.
do. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And then try your luck against, the Vegas 2 times and LA Kings 2 times and Dallas, right? Those are
Yeah.
also they're winnable games. Um, Unfortunately, one of those games next week is in Vegas, and we sure have an issue winning in that building.
We got a point.
Did get a point. Yeah.
Fucking loser point.
Yeah.
Stupid system.
That loser point is what's keeping our playoff hopes alive, baby.
Yeah, which seems
I know.
dumb.
I
I
agree.
mean, am I happy about it? Yes.
Yeah, we'll take
But
it.
but
But
it's a stupid system where 13 losses count as points.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Rewarding losers has never been my strong suit, we'll say. It's not something
Yeah.
I believe in at all. You did well.
Yeah.
You played your hardest. Here's a point.
13 less points. Like if we had no loser points, we would be at what 50, yeah, we'd be like 28th or something like that.
Yep. 13 less points. We would be at 58 points. We would be
27th
just
maybe. I
yeah,
gotta look at it.
we'd be between St. Louis and Vancouver in the West.
Yeah. Like I don't know. Maybe in the off season we should have a show and talk about the systems that we would like to see, like the point systems for the league that we would like to see,
Mhm.
because this is honestly pretty stupid.
Yeah, we would be 26th in the league without
Yeah.
those loser points. Though, I mean, look at Philadelphia. They would actually they have 11 loser points. So I mean, yeah, it would without you can't just say without ours, right? You got to say without everybody else's. So the whole
Because
thing would be
Detroit has 9, right? And
yeah. Yeah, Detroit has 9.
San Jose has 12.
Dallas has 13, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
does
mean,
Dallas have as many as we do?
yeah.
Oh, they do too. Wow.
Mm.
Well,
I
it's been
think
an exciting week. It's been a pretty pretty fun last couple games, even with the lack of scoring against Minnesota. Um, Tyler Toffoli's heroics and Jacob Markstrom's resurgence has really sparked the fan base and
yeah.
given us some positive things to talk about, which hasn't happened a whole bunch this season.
And I absolutely love the decision the team made after Toffoli scored the shootout winner that the whole team went over to Markstrom and didn't go over to Tyler to celebrate his goal.
Yeah,
I think that was absolutely the right decision.
I I I wanted I don't give Daryl a lot of credit this year because I think he's fucked up too many times this year. But their decision to tell Markstrom even before he started playing well again that this is yours now and we're done, giving Vladar too many more chances. This is your ball, run with it.
Mhm. Yeah.
um and he's done it.
Yeah. No,
And
he's answered the call for sure.
and he needed those 2 wins. Like he needed those 2 points in Dallas, like just as much as the team did, right? He has, like, we look at the Minnesota game where Calgary didn't score one, the Toronto game where Calgary scored one, and the Boston game where they um did they score at all after Markstrom came in? I forget. But yeah, he
Yeah.
wasn't getting any run support after he started playing really well, and he needed those wins because wins help confidence too.
Yeah, especially to be able to pull out the nothing um after 65 minutes. That's huge for his mentality.
Yeah,
It really is.
it really is. After 65 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean those are the types of things that are going to get you over the hump when your goaltender can come in and play like that, right?
Agreed. I just before we sign off, I just want to point out one thing that's been bothering me. And I know I've said it in the group chat lots, but I'm going to say it here. Like, we all know I'm not a huge Nazem Kadri fan, but this Kadri and Huberto thing, it doesn't fucking work
Nope.
at all. Kadri wants to carry the puck. Huberto wants to carry the puck. Huberto should carry the puck.
Mhm.
Huberto uses his line mates. Kadri doesn't. What we need is a center playing with Huberto that lets him carry the puck up the ice and can get to soft spots.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
When we first acquired Kadri, I was excited because we had just lost Matthew Tkachuk, which meant that we just lost a
net front presence.
a very good net front presence. And so, of course, your immediate thought is that's what Kadri has done for most of his career, been a pest in front of the net.
Yeah.
But he has not done that at all for the Flames.
No.
At all.
No.
Like, why in the fuck is he on the first power play over at the dot?
Why is he the guy carrying the puck over the line?
Right.
Like I understand sometimes, but every time, and there's always a line of three guys on the other team on the power play waiting for him to cross the line, and then
right.
he just gets rocked.
Well, that's right. And I don't know how many times I've heard Rick in the play-by-play go, "Oh, Kadri tried to get around a defender but was unsuccessful." No, he didn't try to go around a defender. He tried to go through a defender. He always tries to go through a defender, and is never, ever, ever successful at it.
People will remember the Trouba thing because that is exactly it wasn't at the blue line, but that's exactly what happened. He tried to get through Trouba. He put the puck around Trouba and then tried to get through Trouba, and Trouba's like, no.
He's a much
he
much
does
sturdier
that
frame, right?
every game.
Mm-hmm.
The Trouba one was high profile because it caused a fucking kerfuffle, and Dubé for some reason went to fight him. But like every single game, I feel like his teammates are tired of watching him try and skate through a brick wall.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I certainly am.
I am too. But he has chemistry, or at least he did, with Dylan Dubé. And now I am hoping the Nick Ritchie on the second line thing is over. And I'd really like to see Lindholm and Huberto together again. And I'd like to see Dubé and Kadri together again.
Yep. I agree with that. So do we do Dubé, Kadri, and Pelche then?
See,
I think if
feel like that would be good because that's kind of like Mangiapane, except better in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Because I do agree. I do want to see Huberdeau and Lindholm again, and I think that naturally it would have to be Toffoli that plays with him.
Yeah,
you know, you need that sniper, right? If you're going to have a guy like Huberdeau setting up plays, it's got to be the sniper that plays with it. Yeah, and I honestly think that it would bolster Lindholm's game a fair bit at this point because he needs some help. He's playing hard. He's trying his ass off, but
yeah, I don't know what's going through his head. I think maybe him having a kid is having the opposite effect of Markstrom.
Yeah, maybe he's having the late nights with the screaming child.
Yeah,
not everybody can have that gift of being able to sleep through anything like a bomb as I do.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see Lindholm, Huberdeau, and either Peltier or Toffoli. I'd be happy trying either of them.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the Lindholm, Toffoli, Huberdeau thing didn't work at the beginning of the year.
No, but I mean, Huberdeau was very new to the system.
Huberdeau was new to the system.
And
Toffoli didn't
line
have
mates.
his like they've played together on the power play this whole time. Like they're used to each other now.
That's right.
Let's try it again and let's stop this just nonsensical cadre thing that
Mhm.
it's just so frustrating to watch.
It is. Yeah,
I've
it
used
is.
this word a couple times, but I am dreading the next 6 years of Kadri if this is how he's going to play.
I
It
agree.
is hard to watch.
Yeah, and it would be excusable if it was, once or twice a week, but it's like 4 or 5 times a game.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I throw my hands up every time. Like, what were you thinking? Seriously.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Like, you watch guys like Crosby get around guys doing that, but he's like going around.
Yeah, you
not
gotta, that's the
through.
key. That's the key, is around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. He's
Yeah.
not successful. He's yet to be successful at it, and why Daryl hasn't beat it out of him. Not necessarily physically beat it out of him. So
Why
that would be my preference.
why he is still the puck carrying option
Mhm.
is just so far beyond me.
Yeah.
It's so far beyond me. He's fine when he gets a nice pass and can make a shot or corral a rebound, or the
Mhm.
rare time he does stand in front of the net and screen the goalie. He's fine. He's good at certain things. Carrying the puck into the zone is not what he's good at, and he should not be doing it at
Yeah,
all.
especially on the power play. I'd rather see Rasmus carry the puck than him. I'd rather see Toffoli carry the puck than him.
I'd rather see fucking Nick Maloche carry the puck than him.
Simmer down.
Well, that's my point, though. Like
All right. You know what? I feel like that is a super high note in which we should go out on.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Good. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's been a blast. I'm really happy to be back at it. Dylan and I will be.
I'm happy you're back.
I'm happy I'm back. Better than ever, baby.
Cheers. How's that
Cheers.
non-alcoholic beverage?
It's so fucking good. So fucking good. Thanks for tuning in.
I'd like to just send a cheers out to Chris, who has to watch this team be incredibly mediocre and can't even have a drink.
And it can't even drown my sorrows.
No.
Doesn't mean I can't have a gummy.
No, that's fair. All right. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks for watching.